Tick Phonics, Bo. Before we start, I would love to say hi to everyone who has come on board. Remember, I said once you come on board, please introduce yourself. So we have Miss Igwe Praise. Hi, Praise. Welcome. We have Mrs. Obawoluale Yemisi. Hi, ma'am. Hope I didn't murder your name. Then we have Mrs. Ifoma Nebeife. Hi, ma'am. Welcome. We have Mbanugo Mary Juliet Ogochukwu. Hi, Mary. We have Mrs. Eden Kiruka. Hi, ma'am. Welcome. We have Itunu Balogun. Hello. Welcome. We have Miss Lillian. Hi, Lily. Welcome. We have Mrs. Lisa Regetere. Okay. Welcome. We have Obianuju. Hi, Obianuju. We have Mrs. Odmotola Nyadinuga. Welcome. Miss we have Masa Tona. Welcome. Okay. And we have Ayomide Emmanuel. Hello, ma'am. Welcome. Then the last but not the least, we have Edidiong Sylvester. I've seen your reason. No? Welcome, everybody. So how is your day? How you guys doing? So I've seen your expectations for the class, and I trust God that we'll be able to smash that goal. Okay, so I have my baby beside me, please, and I tried to make her sleep. She woke up and it's delaying. Waiting for her to sleep has delayed me recording this. So please, if you hear any noise, yawning, cry, please just ignore. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now, learning to read, okay, is essentially learning a code. And what is a code? A code is a system of words, letters, or figures used to represent something. Okay? Now, the letters we use, the letters we all know, letters A to letters Z, are simply symbols or written codes. So the letters, letter A, B, C, that everyone knows, they are simply symbols or written codes for the speech sounds of the English language. Now, okay, let me tell this story. I'm a teacher, so I tell stories. I remember in 2017, I was 7, and I had lots of time in my hands, like lots of time in my hands, guys. And my husband happens to run a skill acquisition firm. So one of those 3 days, I said, "Oh, let me take all those this wave about coding, software engineering, and all that." So I decided to join the IT class. The first day I was so enthusiastic, I enjoyed the class. The second day I tried to learn coding, Lord, the kind of headache. So let me not derail from what I'm saying. I told that story because of we're talking about code. So a code is a system of words, letters, or figures used to represent something. Now, the foundation of learning to read is simply knowing the relationship between the alphabet. We all know alphabets, A or apple. Now, the foundation of learning to read is essentially learning about the relationship between the letters of the alphabet, letters F, letters G, letters H, and the sounds that they represent. F, D, Okay, now knowing this relationship helps us crack the code. Remember, we talked about coding and learn how to both read. Reading means to decode, and spell, which means to encode. Okay, so I like this quote. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Think about it. So, in teaching your child to read, it's not just learning that BAG is bag. No, it's not just learning that BALL is ball. No, that was the old-fashioned way we all learned to read. But it's the 21st century, guys. This is 2020. Things have changed. So if you're still teaching your child to read via memorization, ball, three-lettered words, and all those old-fashioned things we used to do, then it's assumed you're still using a land phone in this era of iPhone 12, maybe iPhone 13. Okay, so let's look at the core purpose of this workshop. It is simply to phase out the old-fashioned way of learning to read, where children learned to read solely by rote memorization. Now, what is rote memorization? It simply means learning or memorizing by repetition. Okay, so like I said, when you have to say, excuse me, class, we're learning new words today. New words. C-A-T, cat. B-A-T, ball. Ba-ba-da-ram-bam. No. Okay, we're trying to phase out that. So instead of saying C-A-T, cat, we now say K-A-T, cat. Okay? Now, it's been proven that the ability to learn is higher in children who learned to read through the synthetic phonics. Okay? These children who learned to read through synthetic phonics are always higher in learning than children who learned to read via memorizing words. Now, their ability to become independent learners is always higher. That means that these children who have learned to read through synthetic phonics, that you no longer need to guide their hands for everything. So, for example, you teach a child how to say the at family, at, okay? They've learned b, at, and of course, they've learned so many letters, okay? For example, you've taught them how to say the sounds of the 44 sounds, and you've learned the at family, so they've learned b, at, bat, okay? They've learned at, mat, they've learned p, at, pat, okay? So when they now say the word at, because they've learned this sequence, they don't need to wait for you to come and tell them that the at is fat. It's following a sequence. They now understand and know the skill of synthesizing. Okay, guys. Also, when you teach a child to read through synthetic phonics, the child becomes a confident and a proactive learner. They go ahead to read other words even without you guiding them. Okay, now synthetic phonics is a way of teaching children to read. Now, it's been identified both here in Nigeria and in other countries that is the most successful approach to teaching reading and spelling. Okay, the synthetic component reflects the practice of synthesizing or blending together. The phonic part reflects the process of linking individual speech sounds. Okay, these speech sounds sounds like a, like a b, like d, like e, like w, like f, okay, to their graphemes. Now, the graphemes are the written symbols, like I told you, the letters A, B. Okay? Now, essentially, when a child learns to read using this synthetic phonics we're talking about now, they learn to link letters to speech sounds, then blend together to read words. We'll still get into that fully. Now, let's look at the benefits of synthetic phonics. Now, learning phonics helps children to decipher words, to decode words, to read words, even words they have never seen before. Once they've learned the principles that guide synthesizing, I think it's what I want to say now. It's a Lord, please forgive me, but once they learn how to read, once they learn how to decode, it becomes easy, it becomes fun, okay? Then learning phonics expands the child's vocabulary. Now, reading becomes fun, so they want to read, okay? Now, learning phonics encourages children to recognize text fluently, okay? Learning phonics enables stronger reading comprehension. Learning phonics boosts writing ability. Okay, now, in the beginning, I mentioned that I came up with the concept of integrated synthetic phonics. Now, first of all, what is integrated synthetic phonics? Integrated synthetic phonics is simply an integration, a joining up, a combination of different programs of phonics we have out there. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that we have two branches of phonics. We have the analytical phonics and the synthetic phonics. Now, the phonics I'll teach you is an integration of the benefits of the analytical phonics and the benefits of the synthetic phonics. Now, example, I'll be combining Jolly Phonics and Montessori Phonics. Now, for most of us, Jolly Phonics is very popular, okay? So, this is not wholly a Jolly Phonics class, no. It is not wholly a Montessori class. It is an integration of analytical Montessori and synthetic Jolly Phonics, okay? Excuse me. Now, let's look at the right way to pronounce our letters. This is like a bonus class. Because I know I'm Igbo, and for a number of, I think for every tribe in Nigeria, there is a certain level of mother tongue interference in the way we speak. So I know in Akwa Ibom State, the sound E, that's the sound for E, they say eh. There's nothing you do to correct a good number of people, especially older people, that make them change the way they already pronounce that. Okay, I know in Igbo and in the Igbo tribe, instead of H, they say H, M, and all that. So we're going to learn the right pronunciation of these alphabets. So please repeat after me. A. So point at the screen. Point at your letters. A. B. C. D. E. F. G. H. I. J. K. L. M. N. O. P. Q. R. S. T. U. V. W. X. Y. And Z or Z. That is the right way your children should learn how to pronounce their alphabet. Not A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. No. That's outdated. It's been phased out. It is phased out. Please. Okay. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of today's class. Can you see the picture on your screen? What letter is that? It's letter A. Now, one very popular way children learn in Nigeria, one very popular thing you find out, one overemphasized concept in the Nigerian curriculum is the teaching of alphabets. I didn't say that they are not important, but I just said it is overemphasized. If you go to an average Nigerian school, the first, second term of the first class, that's the class for 3-year-olds, they learn A, B, C, D. Okay? Now, learning those letters and letter for the children to read, it poses a challenge. Why? Because these letters are not important in reading. They are useless. For example, listen to me. The word seat. I have a seat in front of me. The word seat. Now, the first sound in seat is S. Okay? The second sound, is E, and the third sound is T. Now, the letters that made those sounds were S, that's S, E, the digraph E, E, A, T, which is T. Now, the S-E-A-T, it didn't show face I'm trying to look for a more graphic word. It didn't come near reading the word we just talked about. But it's just a letter. Now, by the time children are taught letters, something in their mind, because the mind of a child when born is tabula rasa. It's a blank slate. So whatever a child learns is imbibed in the course of life, in the course of learning. Now, for the fact that alphabets are overemphasized, children when they want to read, try linking the alphabet to the word you're telling them to read. For example, they see cap, C-U-P. They're trying to read it. They're saying C-U-P. Now, there's a challenge. The reason why a good number of children don't read early is that they're trying to comprehend C-U-P is already cap. It's cap. How do I now link that C-U-P is saying cap? Are you following me? So that is the problem a good number of people who try to teach children to read face. The challenge that the children have already been taught the alphabet. Okay, so in this class we'll be dealing on how you can deal with it. Now, look at the picture on your phone. The way I teach my children is this. That this picture you're seeing is basically a picture. It's a symbol. Okay? It is a symbol. A symbol that has a name. That is all a letter is. That is all an alphabet is. A symbol that has a name. If you don't take anything from today's class, just think of, apart from spelling, what do you use your letters to do? Nothing. Apart from you want to say, hey. Even when you've never heard the word before, let me make up a word. Blackanization. Blackanization. I made up the word, though. Please don't condemn me. Now, if I ask you to, if you see that word on the board, blackanization, okay? How are you able to read it? Do you read it with B-L-A? There is no link. But by the time consciously you know the sounds, you're able to read any word. Okay, so I believe I have established that. Okay, so why is it important for us to focus on sounds? Okay, it is important to know both the sounds and the letter names when learning to read. Children who know most of their letter names don't really know how to read early. But by the time they know their letter names and their corresponding sounds, they are far more likely, to read early than children who just know their letter names, that is the alphabet, or they just know their letter names and few sounds. Okay? When we say the alphabet, we tend to use letter names like A, B, C. But when we read or spell a word, remember reading is decoding, spelling is encoding. So when we decode or encode, it is important to know that the letters are represented by their sounds. For example, when we want to read the word cat, we don't say C-A-T, whether we say ka, at. We blend it together, we now have ka-at, cat, instead of saying C-A-T. You see, I told you, letters are overemphasized. So you will have to teach your child letters, but de-emphasize it once you want to start teaching your child how to read. Actually, in Jolly Phonics, the reason I don't implement this in Nigeria is because a good number of schools start with letters. So most children already know their A, B's. Even parents at home start teaching A, B, C, D. But Jolly Phonics do not support teaching your children your alphabet before the sounds, because they believe that you're clouding the child's brain with so much information that is not really needed. Okay, so let me give you a snippet of what we'll be doing in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is learning the letter sounds. Okay, so it is generally agreed that there are about 44 sounds that make up words in the English language. Okay, now let's go back to, okay, so here it is. If we count the letters we have, okay, we have only 26 letters, but there are 44 sounds. So the question is, where are the remaining sounds coming from? So that's the reason why English language is confusing. That's why you need to learn this skill, because communication is a natural ability in human, but reading is not anywhere close to a natural ability. You can keep a child in, let's say, China. China is in the news, so let's use China. For within the locals of China who speak the Chinese language. Okay? I don't need net data. Pepsi and leave me alone. Okay, so you can keep a child. For example, I keep my baby in China. I come back in the next a year and a half. The baby is already doing ching chong chang chong. But if I keep her in the library for 10 years, if I don't teach her to read, I'll come back and she's still the same way. That is why the reading skill is important. Most parents who complain that their children do not know how to read haven't taken the time to actually teach the reading skill. Okay? Now, we're talking about where the other sounds are coming from. The other sounds are coming from a combination. So in phonics, we have concepts like consonant blends, double consonants, phonemes, trigraphs, digraphs, and a couple other concepts. So the other 44 alternative sounds too. So the other 44 sounds that we have 44 minus 26. Do the math. That's your homework. Do the math. I think it's 14 minus 6 is 8. So the other 18 sounds, Abby, I'm not disgrace myself. Should be 18. The other 18 sounds come from a combination of the single sounds, which are the alphabets, okay? Now, in a number of cases, 2 letters or sometimes 3 letters are put together to represent a specific sound. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be looking at learning the letter sounds. Now, tomorrow's class is going to be very intensive because you're learning sounds. And in tomorrow's class, I know we all know our sounds. We know A is A. But tomorrow I'll be changing some things you've learned over the years. So come with an open heart. Come prepared. Delete some facts from things from your phone that are not important. Charge your battery. Please ask me questions. You don't understand anything from what I've said so far. You think I talk too fast? Because I really do talk too fast. You think I talk too much? Just tell me, babe. Reduce the stories. We don't need it. We just came to learn. Okay? Alright. So thank you so much for joining today's class. Hope you enjoyed it. Please listen. Don't do and go to the end. Please listen. This is a class. I'm a teacher. And if you notice, I've emphasized on you guys participating because this is a class and it's not you I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about your children because if you learn this skill, if you listen to my introduction, the first voice note I sent, I said I have a passion that every African child becomes a young reader. And you guys are the missionaries. You are going to be my crusaders in your homes, okay? And if you don't listen, if you don't learn, then I've wasted my time. So please, okay? So I expect questions. Tomorrow I'll be asking questions. We'll continue the discussion in the group. Somebody's patience has elapsed. We'll be discussing in the group. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good night rest. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.